Good evening, my friends, brothers and sisters. Today is the Friday, August 11, 2006. Lately and finally, most of the activities in the monastery has been done 95%. There will be another youth retreat next week on Thursday and Friday. So next week when you come, you will join with the youth. I hope that next Friday you will try to come to support for the kids. Every year I try my best to squeeze my time to arrange the retreat for the youth. Actually, they're supposed to have the retreat on last Wednesday. But Thầy was unable to organize because Thầy out of the battery. Very tired after 3 months to prepare many things in the monastery for the summer. This year is my 20th year, the year that I landed in Canada. This September will be the 10th anniversary when we start the construction of this facility. Sometimes when I sit down quietly with the cup of tea, I look back the past time. Things have been past. Some of the things that I very much appreciate, even those are not very well, and something very well. That means happiness and suffer. But I do appreciate them all because those conditions became something very healthy to nourish for my practice. So today, I want to share with you the 3 valuable things in our life. The first thing is the time, our time. And sometimes we think we have a lot of time. But be careful. That kind of thinking may become a wrong perception. Time never waiting for us. So whenever we have time to do something, if it is time's up, we must do it right away. This afternoon, the young monastics organized the Dharma discussion together. I was joined, and I also invite the 3 visitors from London, Ontario. They came suddenly just to pay a visit, but right at the time that we are having our Dharma discussion. And when we sat at the back and he started to have some of the questions about Buddhism, and I think, why don't I invite him to join the Dharma discussion so he can raise his question And some of the young monastics can have a chance to share. And I also have a chance to share. And if anything that the young monastics never heard, they may have a chance to hear. And when he raised the question, I asked some of the monastics to answer. And before the young monastic answer his question, and usually they stop for at least 1 or 2 minutes before he answered the question. And after the first answer, he said, that visitor asked me, is that how you guys would train? You people would train? Before you answer a question, you take a little bit of time to think? And I told him that before, when you raise the question, we already have the answer along with your question. But we practicing to slow down before we answer any kind of question, because we try to find a word that able to make you understand the question. So sometimes we control by the time. We always run after the time. But we do not know how to use the time meaningfully. No matter what, we are rushing or we slow down. We only have 24 hours a day. No more, no less. But we have to ask ourselves, time is valuable. But did we know how to use it? That is the question. Sometimes we think, we look back to our life, we live up to this day. How did we use our time? Some people come to me and complain a lot about people around them. They start to report, Thay, this is what people said, this is what they said, this is what they have done. They try to report and try to divide good, bad, right, wrong. And I said, do you have time to sit down and do all kind of that job? And have you ever sit down and think back, what have you done to bring something valuable for your family yet? And sometimes we think we are old enough to understand many things in life, to have a lot of experiences. But we are smart for the whole life, but we can be silly in 1 minute. That's we used to remind ourselves. We are very clever in many things in our life, but sometimes 1 minute of silly and 1 minute of that silly thought in us can damage, can destroy the whole life of clever, the whole life of intelligent. One tree can mate into thousands of matches, but one match can burn thousands of the trees. We have built up so many things in our life, but a second of misunderstanding can destroy everything. So therefore, when we look at the time, we know that time is valuable, available for us each day. But do we use them? Sometimes I feel guilty for that day. Because sometimes I feel that I have wasted my day for things around me. And that doesn't bring me any benefit, and I did not do much for people around me. So therefore, when we meditate, when we look back at the time and make sure each day, each hour offer us, and make sure we know how to use them. It is the same as when we have money. We must learn how to use money. Otherwise, we will buy so many things that no need. And we just make our house full of stuff. And when they are too tight, we have no way to walk. We start to open our garage and garbage. And sometimes we make a phone call to our friends. You need that, I can bring over. And sometimes we do not know how to use time meaningfully. The same as we do not know how to use money. We already spend time to buy stuff, to buy things, carry over, make our house full of things. And then now we spend time to clean up, time to bring over. So 1 minute waste, so many minutes, other minutes also can be wasted. So when I remind my young students, I always remind them, use your youth. Because now they are like a piece of blank paper. And if they know how to write beautiful things on that piece of paper, that will be beautiful. So therefore, internet, very dangerous for the youth. If they are using internet without our vision, without our supervise, they make some of the things, some of the websites may damage their mind, their beautiful mind. And sometimes we cannot see and take care for everything, and we have lose our control. And even we are adults, sometimes we did not use the time meaningful like that. Before we have the retreat for monastics in July, for English speaking in August, when we have a meeting to set up all the schedule for the summer. And I have told the community that after the retreat, I will be away from the temple for a while to practice what I call the self-retreat. So therefore in September, after all the young monastic back to school. And I arrange everything. Then I will be away from the temple. I will be in France for 2 weeks. And then I will start my self-retreat. The Friday class still running. Thầy Pháp Ân will come over to replace me, to help me for Friday night. So don't get too exciting. There will be someone with you. Thầy Pháp Ân will help me to continue the class. And please continue to come to support for the Sangha, for the community. Why? Because I feel that sometimes I just spend my energy, spend my battery for organizing, but I sometimes do not have enough time to organize inside of myself, inside of me. So in order to balance my practice, I need to organize inside of me. I already maybe a little bit of skillful to organize activities for the community. Sometimes we are skillful on that, but we are not skillful in organize our home, our family. Do you have that kind of thing sometimes? We are very good to give advice to other people, but when we touch to that point, we feel the end of the world. So when I left, it is a chance for me to recharge. So when I come back, maybe I have something new to share with you. So when you continue to come on Friday, that means you support me indirectly. And I close my door, I stay in the hut to practice. I support you indirectly or directly. So we all support each other. The time you sit here on Friday, also the time for me to sit with you. So spend time together. Directly or indirectly. But if we know how to use time meaningfully, no matter where we are, we still meet to the point of awakening, of mindfulness. When we can spend time together in the family, that is the time for meditation. Meditation of appreciation, the presence of the family. When I am able to have a chance to be with the young monastics, I'm very happy because I know that they still here for me and I'm still there for them. So one of the valuable things is the time. Let's imagine if Thầy Phap Hoa is not ordained as a monastic, as a monk. I spend my time like a piece of log in the river in 20 years. And what happened to that piece of log? Wherever it wants to stop, let it stop. Nothing. But I thanks to the time in 20 years have built up my practice. And I'm here for you in this moment. And if I did not spend time to do that, and you do not spend time to be here, we are not met. So you use your time meaningful I use my time meaningful. That's why we are here in this moment. Isn't that the time valuable? Right in this minute. Right in this time. We have used the time meaningful. When you are healthy, do not waste. Because sometimes in this life, we have a lot of money. Some people in this life, they have a lot of money. They can buy any kind of medicines, but they cannot buy the health. Good health cannot buy by money. We can have a lot of money to buy the house, luxury house, but not a home. A house and a home is different. A house is a material, but a home is something warm inside. You can buy a lot of cosmetics, but you cannot buy the beauty, the true beauty of a personality. The way we walk, the way we behave, the way we come to each other. The virtue, the true virtue in us, that must be cultivated, must be practiced. Use time to practice, not use money to buy. We can have a lot of money to buy a rope like this. We can buy tons of ropes. But we cannot buy a monkhood. The behavior of a monk. We can spend an hour, still a time, to do a ceremony to become a monk. But we need to spend time to be a monk. Become something easily. Spend just 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours to become something. Still some time to do it. But spend time to be who we are. Spend time to become husband and wife. Become husband and wife. But did we spend time to be a wife and be a husband? Be a father, be a mother. Become a student and be a student. Take long time. Lot of time. And if we do not use the time, we do not know how to value the time. Time flies, but we still nothing. So did you get an idea of the time? The second valuable, our speech. In this life, most of the communication based on our conversation. We want to understand each other, we must speak. We want to give people understand Buddhism, we must speak. We want to ask for something, speak up. There's nothing, very rarely things that we do not need to ask, but things can happen. That's difference. But in the reality of this society, most of the things based on our speech. So therefore, cultivating our speech is one of the main practice in Buddhism too. And if we do not know how to cultivate that, we do speak, but every single word we speak, we only bring hurtful to other people. We only bring discommunication. We only bring breaking the community, the communication. So you know that in Buddhism, the 3 karmas, all the karma that we created in this life is based on 3 things: body, speech, and mind. Body is our action. Speech is our language. Mind is what we thought. What we have thought, it leads to our speech. It leads to our action. But one of the valuable things, speech. Vietnamese people used to say, you do not need to spend even a cent to buy a word. But we must select what kind of word that we can use in order to make other people happy. The Buddha taught us loving speech. Chinese people used to say, a single word you have spoke, after you spoke it out, even the 4 horses cannot catch, cannot bring that back. 4 horses cannot run, cannot chase the word and bring it back. So therefore, we must be careful. So this afternoon, when that man asked, did you people train to be slow like that before you speak? And I told him, we have learned to stop a while before we speak. To think back, is that kind of word can bring happiness or not? That example, this is the first time you visit a Buddhist temple. The first time you talk to a Buddhist monk. The first time you're listening to the Buddhist philosophy. All the Buddhist terms, and you will just sit there and totally nothing. So therefore, same question, but I know how to use the word for the people who have practiced Buddhism for long, people who in the middle, and people who totally new. You understand what I try to say? Slow down. Sometimes in daily conversation, by our unmindfulness, we do not mean it. We just say it out. People misunderstand us right away. And the arguments start right away. I have been in that kind of situation in many times. And even now, we still cultivate and practice on that. The Buddha said, even the person who attained the arahatship, they still cannot completely 100% trust their mind. Because still, why is that? Because they still cultivating and practicing, and they still live in this entire world very easily to attract. Most of us come here on Fridays. We have learned most of the practice, basic. But tell me the truth. How much that you apply in your daily life when you have to face to a very hard situation? You still think, react, and speak as who you are in the past before you practice. Sometimes that happens. How come? Because that become our strong negative habit energy. And we just come here for 1 year, 2 years, compared to 20, 30 years that we live with that negative energies. And if we are not mindful enough, we can lose ourselves right away. Let me give you an example. One of my friends, he is a monk too. One day he shared with me, he said, Thầy, just a little funny story. One day, one person called in to the temple. That person picked up the phone and say hello. And maybe the system, something wrong with it. So the other side hear, hello. They say, this is me. But the other side in the temple cannot hear because something wrong with the system. But that lady think someone called in. Somebody called in and bugging the temple. So before they hang up, on the way they hang up, they say stupid. On the way they hang up, they say it. But you know who is that person on the other side? That is the abbot of that temple. He tried to call back to the temple because he was troubled, and he called back to the temple and to see is there anything happened in the temple. But he called in, and one of the lady in the temple picked up the phone and say hello. And he said, this is me, the abbot. But this lady cannot hear him. So she hang up, but on the way she hang up, she says stupid. She said, Thầy, you know what happened? Very lucky. That person is me. I cannot imagine if that day that phone call is not me, maybe someone else. I don't know what do they think about my temple. I don't know what do they think about people who volunteer at the temple. It's only a small story. But that can make us think back. Maybe if she knows that is a monk or someone, she will hang up gently. But because that negative habit energy in her, right in that moment, we can see the negative habit energy arise very quickly in us. Can you see what I mean? So why we need to meditate? Why we need to practice? In order to calm ourselves down and make the negative energy in us sleep. We cannot delete. Sometimes we delete, but we forgot to empty the trash. Still there? So make sure when you delete that file, it's come to the trash, but make sure you empty the trash once a while. Otherwise, do not misunderstanding. Delete doesn't mean it's gone. It's still there. Even we use the word delete. With our practice, we cannot delete. But what we do? Make it calm. Make it stay. Find some crazy glue to stick it. Silicone, but sometimes silicone can rip off because if it keeps for a long time, we need to take them off and install a new silicone in. So our practice, you know that we have a lot of negative seeds in us. And each day we meditate, we chanting, we walking meditation, we do all kind of things. For what? Just for to make that negative stay. Make sure it's stay there. And so many small things like that can be happen in our life. So many small things like that. And you know, even someone pick up the phone and we may think, wrong phone number, they hang up. Sometimes maybe our phone number, our temple's phone number here is used by someone else in the past. Sometimes they call in midnight. I pick up the phone, they say, hello, is that person there? I said, no, you wrong phone. Oh, sorry, they hang up. 15 minutes later, they call in, and sometimes I cannot sleep because they just keep calling whole night. And I cannot say something, negative to them. If one day they find out I'm a monk. If one day they find out this is the temple. And if, who knows, sometimes they are one of the audience here. And I teach a lot of loving speech, and they remember back 5 years ago, I called you and must be careful. That doesn't mean we all can do that. And we are, can attain to that level of the practice. We all need to be very careful to watch out. That's why the Buddha said, we are like a soldier, stand up on the high wall of the kingdom and look to see who is coming and who is come out. A long time ago, each city they have a wall and a gate. They only open from what time to what time. If you out of the city, make sure you come back. And if you cannot come back on time, the gate will close and you have to stay outside of the city and wait. And when you stay outside the city, it's danger because wild animals can come to harm you. So like in Vietnam, in China, in old-fashioned way, they always have the gate. They open from 6 a.m., they close at 6 p.m. And if you're out of town, you make sure you come back. And because at that time, a lot of wars, so they worry people can come in and they always watch out who come in and who come out. We must be careful on our sixth sense. The eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind. Watch out all the time. Be a really good supervisor. So the time, the speech. We spend time to do something. But just a minute of unloving speech can destroy the whole thing that we spend time to do. It's like when we are cooking. We spend time to organize everything. But just a minute, we overheat or we add something over. Salt or sugar or whatever. What happened to that dish? It cannot make tasty anymore. Sometime I went to funeral service in Calgary. And I used to make an turn in at the exit of 17 because that turned to one of the Vietnamese temple. They are very close. So I can be losing my mindfulness when I'm driving on the highway. But when I get into the city, I always pay attention. Because if I miss that exit, I have to spend like almost an hour to come back. And I have that experience already for 3 hours in Calgary. I was late for the funeral service on that day. I don't know, I did not change lane on time. And I was far, far away. And the more I go back. So I learned from that. So in school, when we graduate, sometimes we spend like 12 years, 15 years, still have limit of time for us to graduate. But there was a school in life. We learn forever, up to the minute we die, to the last breath. We still learn from life. That is why Buddhism are valuable. Because Buddhism is the way of life. One life still there, Buddhism still there. Engage and update. Not in any particular frame. It's based on the condition, the time, the country, the situations. So the time and the speech, sometimes they connect together. They connect together. One word we spoke can destroy many things. And when we speak, we must be careful about the tones, the voice. That sometimes make people misunderstand us too. You don't mean it, but the tone at that time make people feel that you're angry. Make people feel that you're upset, you disagree. So that's why as a monastic, when we come to a temple, we learn how to chant. When to be up, when to be down. You know what that's for? Not to become a singer. But that is the way to help us when we go out and we speak. We know how to adjust the tone of our speaking. We learn many things directly and indirectly. But our teacher never mentioned that. When I grow up, automatically when I meditate about that, I find out the purpose of that. And that's what we call awakening and appreciation. That's why we gratitude to teachers, ancestors. When I was young, they teach me this. When you ate an orange, if you like it, plant that seed. They just say that. But what they try to teach me, you have good things, make sure you do good things back to other people. And when you plant good seed, you have good fruit again. In the fruit, there is a seed. In the seed, there was the fruit. You cannot run anywhere. I remember when I'm 7 years old, one day I attended a vegetarian party. In the tradition, we used to organize some special meal and invite the monks, the community come and share with us. And sometimes in Vietnam, in the tradition, they try to set up, the whole meal for 4 people. Each person can have four people for one meal. And sometimes some of the dish is far away from me. And I try to lift my body up and do like this. Try to take some of the food that far away from me. And the lady sit next to me, she said, no, that is not a polite way. Just eat what in front of you. And if you need, ask someone to help you. Not to lift up your whole body and try to get the food like that. And I learned that up to this moment. I still remember where I learned that. When and who is that lady. So now when I teach back to my young students, I do the same. Because they have planted the seed in me, I have the fruit. And in that fruit I have the seed. I plant to them again. And they are nourishing. This is what we call continuation. So our daily life here is the continuation of our ancestors. Yesterday I attended a funeral service of a lady, 86 years old. When I visit her in the senior home, she cannot recognize who we are. But on her face, always smiling, always. The nurses at a senior home call her sweet lady. You know, usually old people at the senior lodge, sometimes they're very mean. They blame the nurse, they bite the nurse when they feed her. But this lady, she never say anything. She cannot remember anything, she cannot say anything. All she do is this. Yeah, yeah. Whatever you come to her, whatever you talk to her, she only smile and yeah, yeah. Sometimes I ask her, do you know me? Yeah, yeah. I think she knows me. But actually when I ask her, did you eat? Yeah, yeah. And I know she does not recognize me. Yesterday, before we cremate her, I told the family, even when she gets old, she forgot everything. But how come she does not forget to smile? Because smiling and happiness, happy heart, happy mind in her have nourished her and become a positive energy in her. That's why when she gets old, even when she forgot everything, but she still have that in her. So if you have a chance to cultivate any positive things for our daily life, don't lose that chance. So the third valuable thing that I share today is the chance. And remember, we only have one chance. Everything in our only one chance, one by one. Not two chances. And sometimes we say, I make a mistake. I want another chance. Yes, another chance still one chance. You cannot sleep 2 beds at a time. You can sleep many beds, but still 1 bed per night. You can have many shirts, but you only able to wear 1 shirt. So the chance is also valuable. I tell you one of my guilty now, that I lose my chance. 2002, when we organized a big retreat for monastics and practitioners like this year, the apartment on my left hand side here, they on sale, and they call us. They call for $400,000. And one of the realtors told me not to buy because that's way expensive. they are not valuable for you to buy at that price, that much. I listened to him, and now I lose my chance. Because now I feel that the temple really, really need it. Really need it. Because when we organize retreats, we don't have enough space. We call them. They did not answer even a word, they just hang up the phone. And I think if we want to buy this one now, it maybe cost for 1 million. So that is a material chance, but still a chance. Still a chance. So let us think back. How many chances that we have let that chance come to us, but we have let that chance fly away from us. We have a chance to learn, but we don't learn. We have a chance to enjoy, but we really not enjoy. We have a chance to look at our mother, but we did not do it. And then when they die, we just look at their picture. But when they are real in the, the active body, we did not look at carefully. And when we lost her, we're still looking, but just looking at the picture. 2 weeks ago, I have visited a lady who was very sick. And she wished that she can make a trip to the temple, but she could not. So she called in and she said, Thầy, may I invite you to come over to my house? I have something to tell you. Her children come to pick me up. And on the way we home, I asked them. They said, when my mother's sick, there is only one person in the family take care for her. Because we know nothing. We don't speak English. We don't know what's wrong with her. Only one of my brother knows. So we let him do it. I said, no. Even he is the one who takes care of everything. But I still encourage. One of you take turn to go along with him. Because that is the chance for you to be with your mother. Even she come there and maybe she can die, she can pass away suddenly, but still the chance for you to be there with her in the last minute. And if you don't come, that man, that brother will blame you. Everything is on him. And if something happened, he can blame all of you and no one have any right to say anything. So if any chance we can be, do it. Not too long ago, I also attended another funeral service of a young lady, only 18 years old in Calgary. And during my speech, and I told them, even she only lived up to 18 years, but you still happy because you have chance to be with her in 18 years. You can offer her a smile, and you also can enjoy her smile. No matter how long we live, how long we are alive, and we never know when we leave. But if we know how to use the chance to be with our beloved one, use that chance. Because The time, the words, the chants can fly across the window, but we cannot bring them back. It's like a thunderstorm. We see it and it's vanished right away. Our life is like that. The time can be like that. The chance can be like that. Last Sunday, we celebrate the Parents' Day. And we will offer some of the gifts to old people, old ladies, old gentlemen, because they stand for mother, they stand for father. And I asked in thousands of audience, I asked, how many here that 70 years old but you still have mom or dad? There was a lady who raised up her hand. She is 70 years old. She still have her mother with 96 years old. And she told me that she only have a chance to back to Vietnam once a year to visit her. Not much. Some of our lady here who is 71, 72, they fly back to Vietnam every year to spend some time with their mother. So when their mother left, there is nothing for them that they feel guilty. I have not done the best as I can. That far, half of the planet, but they still fly back and use the chance to be with the mother. And if we have our beloved one just beside us, and we don't know how to use that chance, that's something we need to think back and cultivate. So if you have a chance to be with Thầy, use that chance. The same as I did. Every Friday, if I'm home, I will use this chance to be with you. Because Thầy can leave anytime. This is not something called misfortunate, but this is the truth of life. This is the truth of life. This is something reality happen in all of us. And if we don't know about that, we are kind like we are missing something. So when I think back about, I share with you what I have thought. The time, the speech, and the chance.